What is up, guys? With Death Battle 2025 on the horizon, I thought I'd do something fun. Now, for every character or series fans might want on the show, there's always going to be the character or series they don't want on. So I thought I'd do my top 5 series / characters I don't want on Death Battle. Without further ado, let's get into the list. Number 5, Dragon Ball Z. Now I know this is a bit of a cheat because it's already been on the show several times, but outside of obvious non-combatants, such as VTubers, or romance anime protagonists, or series I flat out don't like, such as Fairy Tail or My Hero Academia, there's honestly not too many series I'm actively against being on the show. And my reasoning isn't just overuse, because if that was the case, Marvel and DC would be on the list. But it's that every character kind of just blurs together in terms of powers and abilities. You know, it's all just flight and ki blast, and flight and ki blast, and flight and ki blast. Like, at least with Marvel, DC, every character has their own power and ability. So you get that, so it's like, yeah, it's boring that it's another Marvel DC fight, but you get that crumb of something new, you know? You just can't say the same about Dragon Ball. Now on to the actual series and characters that made me make this list. Number 4, the Fate series. Now, I'm a big fan of the Fate series, and because I'm a big fan of the Fate series, I know it can get confusing at times with like the lore and scaling and all that other stuff, story, what have you. And because it's confusing, that I have zero faith Death Battle will be able to like get the scaling and calcs and feats right. Like, zero faith. Like, not to do the meme of, oh, Death Battle scaling is trash, but I mean, outside of the most simple character A made big thing go boom, they are kind of trash and stuff. And because a lot of like the scaling and feats and fights in like the Fate series are very context heavy, like the setup for the most egregious downplay you have ever seen is right there. So that's sort of the reason. Also, I'm just not a fan of a lot of the Fate matchups I see. Like Saber versus Luke, what's the connection? Oh, they both have glowing suits? Oh shoot, why don't I drive down to Walmart, get a little toy lightsaber, and we make it a 3-person battle royale? Or like Doom versus Gilgamesh is another like just bad matchup. Like, what's the connection? Oh, they're both super powerful, but also super arrogant and like blow fights. Like, okay, kind of looking at them at their worst, and also very simplifying the characters down, you know, it's just not great. Also, you know, like, the scaling for the Fate series can actually get pretty high, so the only reason it isn't 4th is because at least they have a few winning matchups. Nothing against Marvel DC, of course, you know, so don't get any, like, Marvel DC feed ideas in your head. But, yeah, I know, it's, like, I love the series, but it's more of an execution thing in this case. Number 3, Judge Holden from Blood Meridian. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't me trying to moral police about the contents of the book. I love Blood Meridian. I think it is a great Western novel and pure Americana. That all being said, while the Judge is a great literary villain, he's sort of unworkable in a versus sense due to just vagueness of certain issues. Now, while there is a fan theory that he might be a demon or even the devil, there's a difference between fan theories and what we can prove. Now, what is made apparent is his superhuman strength and speed, his skilled outdoorsmanship, and his wealth of knowledge in many academic, artistic, and literary fields, right? It's the supernatural stuff where it's too vague to really give him. For example, his teleportation. Throughout the novel, he's able to appear in numerous unlikely places, yet it's never explicitly said if this is some kind of teleportation or just coincidence. He's a mysterious character. Or his corruption abilities. Throughout the book, he's a corrupting influence, making good men bad and bad men worse. You get the gist. Yet it's unclear if this is something supernatural at play or just skilled manipulation. And also, making your opponent in a fight to the death even more murderous isn't exactly helpful anyway, so the corruption is sort of out the window. And most importantly, his claim that he cannot die, or that he'll never die, right? Certainly spooky, yes, but the book never really proves this in any way. At best, he doesn't need to eat or sleep, and seemingly doesn't age, but that's sort of an endurance thing as opposed to some kind of superhuman durability or healing factor. But let's say we give him his more supernatural stuff, right? He still doesn't really have the best high-ends or just regular calcs. Sure, in the very grounded setting of Blood Meridian, crushing a skull with one hand, picking up, carrying, and firing a howitzer cannon with the ease a man would a rifle, and lifting and throwing a several-ton meteorite dozens of feet is horrifying. But that also means your weaker shonen protagonists like Kenshin and Tanjiro, and even your average Marvel DC street tier character is beating him in a fight. But looking past the whole versus talk stuff and into the character, he's just not really the type of character that works in versus. The evil he represents is more than what a 3-minute animation can show. It's best shown in words and atmosphere. He's rather than some internet show about smashing action figures together. He's supposed to be this ever-present, corrupting influence in the story. All mysterious and whatnot. Can't really do that in a 3-minute animation. So this is more of a, I love the character, he's just not right for the medium. Number 2, Spy X Family. Now after the previous tangent, this is actually much simpler of a reason. I actually picked up the show in sort of a low point in my life, changing career paths and what have you, so As much as I despised this term, it became a bit of a comfort show, if you will. So, I'd rather just not see a snuff animation of the characters. Pretty simple reason. At least for, Yor versus the bride, she from Kill Bill, though. Yor should actually take that pretty handily. So, if you must use those characters, at least she wins. Can't say the same about Lloyd versus Archer, but that matchup already hits another versus pet peeve of mine of, oh, the wacky dumbass beats the most serious character. So, even if Spy Family wasn't my preferred series, I still just wouldn't like that matchup. Now, it's actually funny because usually when people do these kinds of lists, there'll be oh, the Iron Giant. Reason being, the movie's about what if Leg Gun didn't want to be Leg Gun. So treating him as Leg Gun would be disrespectful to the character. Yet my reasoning for half of these, it's oh, the show cured my depression. I'd rather not see snuff of it. But yeah, so that's honestly just why it's number 2. It's not some profound intellectual. This show's all about abuse. No, it's just I like the character. I'd rather not see them get killed. Moving on to the series that actually inspired me to make this video. Number 1, Konosuba. Now, my main reasoning for this is because it would just miss the point of the show. The whole joke of Konosuba is that they suck. They are not your standard battle shonen or isekai protagonists. They're not overpowered. They're actually kind of just trash. So, it's to actually put them in a serious fight like this, you just be feeding them to the wolves. They lose. It'd be no fun. Just wouldn't feel right. And, it's one thing if it's a Homelander situation where you're supposed to hate the character, so, him getting nothing but losing matchups is sort of the point. But, when you're supposed to like the character and they have nothing but losing matchup, it's different. Not to mention, a lot of the main cast is sort of unworkable. Megumin, the whole joke is she can attack once a day, then she's done. She's exhausted. She's out of it. So either, which means the only potential animation is just her getting wailed on all fights until she finally pops off her explosion spell. At which case, she better win, otherwise congratulations, you just made the biggest spite animation of the entire show, in Darkness, the whole joke is she literally can't hit anything. She has no win cons, so we can't use her. So the only actual viable one is Kazuma, and yeah, he has a few neat tricks. He has a snipe spell, a create water spell, I believe some kind of cold spell, invisibility, a life drain spell, and most importantly, steal. But even then, he doesn't get that crazy calc-wise because that's the joke. He's not an overpowered isekai protagonist. It also doesn't help that his most popular match is against Scott Pilgrim, a series I absolutely can't stand. Never actually saw it, just the vibes it gives off. Call it my autistic intuition, but just seems like a series I'd hate, so. Yeah, that's sort of why Konosuba's at number 1, just that it misses the point of the characters. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tell me what your top 5 series you don't want to honor. tell me the top 5 series you do want on Death Battle. You know, engagement's always nice, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.